Something is boiling in the rap world tonight, and this time, it is not just a fight, it is a full-blown war. The internet is on fire because Cardi B just crossed a line that might never be uncrossed again. What she said about Nicki Minaj's son, yes, her son, has sent shockwaves through the entire industry. And after this, peace between these two women might be impossible, forever. Now listen, Cardi did not just come for Nicki's throne, she came swinging for her legacy. Her new album dropped like a thunderstorm, and with it came subtle jabs, taunts, and an energy that screamed one thing: I am coming for the queen. She mocked the charts, bragged about taking the top spot, and the internet went wild. Her fans were chanting, tweeting, and celebrating days before the numbers even came out. It felt like Cardi had already won. But when those official numbers dropped, the internet went silent. Like, eerily silent. The same voices that were loud all week vanished. The celebration stopped mid-sentence. And suddenly, all eyes turned to Nicki Minaj, the original queen of rap. Out of nowhere, Nicki returned like a storm that had been waiting to strike. She did not need to speak. She let her receipts do the talking, posting numbers, sales, awards, and records that painted one undeniable truth: Nicki was still on top. And then, it got ugly. Cardi, instead of backing down, went darker. She started dragging Nicki's family into the mess: her husband, her sister, and even her innocent little boy, Papa Bear. Fans could not believe it. Screenshots spread like wildfire, tweets, deleted posts, and leaked DMs. People were gasping, saying this beef had gone way beyond music. Some said Cardi was canceling herself in real time. Others claimed she had finally shown her true colors. Twitter turned into a battlefield, and everyone picked a side. But let us rewind for a second. Because this all started long before the insults. Cardi's entire rollout for her new album Am I the Drama? Was designed to make a statement. Multiple versions of the album, old songs re-added to inflate sales, aggressive promo everywhere. She wanted this to be the comeback of the decade. And for a moment, it looked like it was working. Reports claimed she had moved 200,000 units in her first week, huge numbers. Bigger than most of her peers could dream of. The kind of numbers that scream domination. But even with all that success, there was a shadow hanging over it. Because what Cardi truly wanted, the one thing she could not buy with promo or streams, was Nicki Minaj's crown. She wanted to outsell Pink Friday too. To dethrone the queen. And she made sure everyone knew it. On Twitter Spaces, Cardi said it loud: they better pray my album never drops. That one sentence alone sparked a digital earthquake. Her fans hyped her up, the blogs ran with it, and even neutral fans started waiting to see if she could really do it. Her energy was unmatched. She told her fans, "Do not believe the projections, we are winning next week." And people believed her. It was not confidence, it was cockiness wrapped in glitter. But then, Sunday came. And everything changed. The projections dropped. The truth hit. And it hit hard. The top spot, the one she swore she would take, belonged to Nicki Minaj, again. The silence from Cardi's camp was deafening. The internet noticed. The memes started rolling in. Nicki's fans, the Barbs, went into full victory mode, flooding Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram with edits, remixes, and celebration posts. "The queen stays unbothered," one fan tweeted. "Imagine coming for your idol and losing publicly," another wrote. It was brutal. Then Nicki moved. She began posting her chart stats, casually, gracefully, as if to remind the world who she really is. Every post was a calculated dagger. She did not even have to mention Cardi's name, the timing said it all. And the internet lost its mind. But Cardi was not done. She came back swinging. Subtweets, cryptic posts, and one fiery space session later, she started saying things people never thought she would. She brought up Nicki's child. She brought up private family matters. The comments were ruthless. Fans begged her to stop. But she doubled down, hinting she had receipts to prove everything she was saying. Screenshots began to circulate, some real, some fake, and the entire rap community split in half. This was no longer music. It was war. People began calling it the fall of the sisterhood. Others said, this is history repeating itself, two women tearing each other down while the industry watches. Hashtags like hashtag Cardi vs Nicki, hashtag protect Papa Bear, and hashtag Queen of Rap trended for days. Even celebrities started chiming in, some defending Nicki, others saying Cardi had been pushed too far. But one thing was clear, the internet was addicted to the chaos. Every tweet, every screenshot, every reaction video added gasoline to the fire. Fans were analyzing tone, lyrics, captions, everything. Whole TikTok accounts were born just to decode their beef. It became bigger than the charts. Bigger than the albums. It became personal. And the scariest part? It does not look like it is ending anytime soon. Because in a world where fame is a battlefield and social media is the weapon, neither Cardi nor Nicki is ready to surrender. Not yet. The internet thought it had seen it all, until Cardi B decided she was not going down quietly. The moment she saw Nicki's camp celebrating, something inside her snapped. She stormed onto Twitter like a woman possessed, no filter, no hesitation, no fear. "You must have missed me, hun. Crazy. Now kiss my feet." "Nothing more annoying than a bored bee," she wrote. And just like that, the internet exploded. You could almost hear the collective gasp ripple through every timeline. Fans were pausing their day just to refresh her feed. Every emoji, every punctuation mark, dissected like a crime scene. The energy was wild. Cardi was not just responding, she was declaring war. Everyone knew exactly who that tweet was aimed at. She did not have to say the name. The tone said it all. And then, Nicki Minaj struck back. In true Nicki fashion, calm, composed, but devastatingly sharp, she quoted a post mocking Cardi's album for being discounted to $4.99 and dropped a line that shook everyone. "To every enabler, never provoke a writer while they're writing. You join the game as a willing participant. Do not try to back out now." It was poetic. Cryptic. Cold. The kind of line that makes you stop scrolling and stare. She did not raise her voice, she raised the stakes. And everyone knew, the queen had unsheathed her pen. That is when the situation detonated. Cardi fired back instantly. "The power I have makes these bees come out of rehab every time. Go to your effing room." It was raw, unfiltered rage, the kind that does not care about PR or brand deals. Suddenly, the internet was in flames. Hashtags like #TeamCardi and #TeamNicki were everywhere. TikTok flooded with dramatic edits, reaction videos, reenactments, and fan theories. YouTube commentary channels began dissecting every single line, calling it the rap war of the decade. Twitter became a digital battlefield, Barbs versus Barty gang, both armed with memes, receipts, and unfiltered venom. But beneath all that noise, something deeper was unraveling. Because this was not just about music anymore. It was about validation. Cardi had climbed her way from Instagram fame to Grammy-winning rapper, but the industry never truly let her forget where she started. Critics always whispered that she was manufactured, that she relied too much on her team. That her success was engineered. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj had built her empire brick by brick, surviving the era when female rappers barely got radio play, when she had to fight tooth and nail to be heard. To her fans, Nicki was not just an artist, she was the blueprint. So when these two collided, it was never just a feud. It was history versus hype. Pen versus persona. Legacy versus influence. Nicki's fans taunted Cardi relentlessly, "Real rap wins." They said this was proof that longevity and lyricism still mattered. But Cardi's supporters clapped back harder, "Numbers do not define impact." They argued that Cardi changed culture, that she dominated fashion, memes, and social media in a way no one could ignore. And suddenly, the debate was bigger than them. It became a mirror of the entire industry, two generations fighting for two very different definitions of success. While fans were busy fighting online, something else was brewing in the background, something that made everything even darker. Behind the scenes, whispers began spreading. Insiders claimed Cardi's meltdown was not just about Nicki's trolling, it was about betrayal. Allegedly, her own label had set her up to fail. According to people close to the situation, Cardi's team had rushed the album rollout, not to benefit her, but to compete directly with Nicki's re-release of Pink Friday 2. It was a business move, cold and calculated. They wanted a chart war. But it backfired, hard. Rumors said there was miscommunication between her label and the streaming platforms. Some fans even claimed her team botched her Spotify promotion, costing her thousands of streams. Meanwhile, Nicki's team? Perfect execution. Deluxe editions, special merch drops, strategic timing, every move felt surgical. And when the smoke cleared, Cardi was the one bleeding. She reportedly felt cornered, betrayed not just by her label, but by the same media that had hyped her up all week. One moment they were calling her the queen of the new wave, and the next they were tearing her down with headlines about disappointing numbers and flop projections. It was brutal. And when someone like Cardi feels cornered, she bites back. This was not just celebrity drama anymore. This was ego, strategy, and survival colliding in full view of the world. The feud between these two women had turned into a symbol of fame's cruelty, of how the industry pits women against each other, and how social media feeds on their downfall. And yet, the internet cannot look away. Because deep down, everyone knows, this war is far from over. If anything, it has just begun. And just when everyone thought the storm had calmed, it erupted again. The subtle shade turned into an open fire. The whispers became roars. The posts, oh, they were no longer subliminal. It began with interviews. Little comments slipped between smiles, disguised as industry talk. Cardi made remarks about fake women empowerment and industry plants who cannot take the heat. It sounded harmless at first, until people realized who she was talking about. Meanwhile, Nicki started sharpening her pen. She fired back with her own cryptic phrases, talking about clowns who cannot write a 16 without help. She did not say a name, she did not have to. Everyone knew. It became a digital Cold War. Every lyric, every emoji, every caption, dissected by millions like detectives solving a murder case. The internet was obsessed. This was not just entertainment anymore, it was addiction. By midweek, the feud had evolved into a full-blown cultural earthquake. Other artists began jumping in, some choosing sides publicly, others dropping vague reactions just to stir the pot. Even male rappers, who claimed they wanted to stay out of women's business, could not resist. They posted memes, reaction clips, and sarcastic tweets. Suddenly, this was not just rap beef, it was headline news. Talk shows, gossip blogs, and even late-night hosts started picking it apart. Hashtags like hashtag Cardi vs Nicki, hashtag Queen of Rap, and hashtag Women in Hip Hop were trending globally. Everyone had an opinion, and everyone was watching. But what made this feud different was how personal it felt. Both women had clawed their way up from the bottom. They were not born into fame, they built it from chaos. They fought their way into a genre that rarely made space for women, only to find themselves forced to fight for the same crown. Two women who should have been celebrated together, now turned into rivals for the world's entertainment. And that was the tragedy. Because beneath all the ego, all the fire, and all the online chaos, there was also pain. The kind that comes from being a woman in hip-hop, constantly judged, constantly doubted, constantly compared. Cardi's next moves were unpredictable. Some insiders whispered that she was working on a diss track so ruthless it could end careers. Others said she was done feeding the drama, that she was refocusing on her second album and letting her numbers speak. But her silence felt strategic, not surrender. Cardi has always thrived in pressure, turning backlash into momentum. Meanwhile, Nicki seemed energized by the chaos. She was glowing online, her fans more loyal than ever, streaming her classics, reposting her achievements, calling her the queen of consistency. To her fanbase, this was not just a victory, it was vindication. But then, the leaks began. Alleged DMs, mysterious screenshots, supposed emails from industry insiders, even fake text messages claiming to expose secret plotting behind the scenes. Some of it was real, most of it was fake, but none of it mattered. Because in the age of social media, perception is everything. The line between truth and rumor blurred completely. And through that chaos, both women were winning. Every click, every retweet, every viral breakdown video meant more streams, more sales, more headlines. Their names dominated every trending list for days. The feud had become its own business model, controversy as currency. But for those who loved both, the fans who grew up on their music, who saw them as icons, it was bittersweet. Two women who shattered ceilings, now tearing each other down. Every tweet turned into a headline, every emoji a declaration of war. The internet was entertained, but deep down, it felt hollow. Because sometimes, the loudest battles come from the quietest pain. Still, the world could not look away. And neither could they. Then, the unthinkable happened. Nicki stopped playing nice. She turned her lyrical pen into a blade and went straight for the jugular. She dropped a brutal freestyle, an alphabet of destruction that had the internet reeling. ABCDEFG surgery to look like me. Tell the rat and tell Jay-Z Rico fraud and perjury. She rapped it with venom, every bar landing like a bullet. ABCDEFG rap like Barney, still ugly. ABCDEFG falling off the charts with a big belly. Running trains barefoot still smelly, still you could not outsell me. It was cruel. It was cold. It was Nicki unleashed. The internet froze. Fans screamed. Clips of the verse flooded TikTok within minutes. But then, Cardi retaliated, and this time, she crossed a line that left everyone stunned. She fired back with a tweet that made jaws drop across the world. ABCDEFG. Your man had to snatch a C.P. tastes like honeycomb. Your brother be touching 12-year-olds. Yikes. The world stopped scrolling. That was not just shade, that was scorched earth. People gasped. Fans begged her to delete it. The industry went silent for a moment, and then the chaos exploded again. Cardi even posted a photo of Nicki's brother in a pink wig. Seconds later, Nicki clapped back with a meme of Jay-Z in the same wig, and another of Cardi dressed as Barney. The war had officially turned petty, personal, and poisonous. Nicki doubled down. Her followers flooded Cardi's mentions. Cardi's fans fired back harder. It was not about music anymore, it was about pride, reputation, and humiliation. And in that digital battleground, two of the most powerful women in music were reduced to memes, jokes, and gossip fodder. But one question haunted everyone watching: was this still a feud, or had it become a tragedy? Because in the end, both were fighting for the same thing: respect. And the industry that cheered them on? It was the same one quietly profiting from their pain. What began as a petty lyrical jab had now transformed into a full-blown digital war zone. This was no longer music, this was madness. The internet had become a battlefield. Every emoji, every caption, every retweet, ammunition. The Barbs and the Barty gang were going to war like it was a global election. Twitter feeds drowned in pink hearts, unicorn emojis, and rage. The Barbs declared that Nicki was not just a queen, she was the architect of the throne. Meanwhile, Cardi's army came swinging back with fire emojis and raw energy, claiming she was the new era, the unfiltered heartbeat of the streets. And if you dared scroll through a comment section that week, good luck. You would find paragraphs of essays, tweet threads longer than dissertations, and lyric breakdown videos turning into battle manifestos. Everyone had an opinion, and everyone wanted blood. Then Nicki Minaj decided to pour champagne on the chaos. She went live on Instagram, pink studio lights glowing behind her like a royal throne room. A glass of red wine in her hand. Calm, collected, deadly. She laughed mid-sentence, tossed her hair back, and said the line that detonated the internet: "It's always the ones you open doors for that try to kick it down behind you." The room fell silent, even online. That single sentence was all it took. Her fans went feral, dissecting it like a sacred text. "She's talking about Cardi," they said. Others argued she meant the industry in general. But everyone knew the truth: in hip-hop, there are no coincidences. Every line is a blade. Every caption, a coded shot. And Cardi? Oh, she was not about to let that slide. Within an hour, she went live on X, no makeup, silk bonnet, eyes blazing. Raw emotion. Her voice shook with fury as she yelled straight into the camera: "If you got something to say it with your chest. You ain't the only one who built something. I came from the strip club, from the dirt, and I made it here without riding nobody's coattails. So don't talk about doors when you never held it open for nobody but yourself." That clip hit 3 million views in 2 hours. The comment sections were melting. It was pure, unfiltered chaos. Hashtags exploded: hashtag Team Nicki, hashtag Team Cardi, hashtag Queens of War. Influencers jumped in, parodying the beef, creating fake lyric translations with dramatic background music and cinematic slow-motion edits. Late-night hosts turned it into jokes. Music blogs began publishing serious analyses of the feud like it was a political crisis. Everyone wanted a piece of the fire. Then Nicki did the unthinkable. She dropped a 17-second snippet. No title. No caption. Just pure venom. "I been sittin' quiet, but don't get it twisted.